Yeah, we're bringing Lady in because she's had a number of aggressive episodes that started last summer. While I was away for 10 weeks, and while I was away, my wife told me about 3 times that she got aggressive with other humans or other dogs. One was at the beach, and another dog came up to the beach shelter trying to drink her water, and she sort of growled and lunged at it. The second time was someone trying to pet her underneath a table at a restaurant. And then the third time was in our home when some friends were eating dinner outside, and they were giving her some scraps under the table. And then more recently, she comes to my work. She would come like once a week, and on 2 different occasions, my co-workers would go down to pet her, and she would snap at them. And one time it drew blood, and I don't know if that was her paw or her teeth that actually did it. My guess is it's her paw, but I don't know. And then most recently, we just brought her on the plane for the first time to fly up to Sacramento, and she started growling and trying to lunge at the stewardess before we took off, so we got off the plane. And then we drove to my brother's house, and at my brother's house, multiple times a day, if we were petting other dogs, she would get jealous and kind of aggressive towards them, or if the other dogs would come up to her while she was eating, she would get aggressive with them, or if even as simple as she was sitting on the couch next to me or my wife, she would try and sort of protect us and get aggressive to the dogs or other humans, barking, lunging, stuff like that.
Ready? Sit. So we walk Lady up to the new person that came to visit in the yard. We walk over, hand her a little treat. We're using this Natural Balance sausage. You saw she stayed in a sit stay. She's waiting for me. And I'm not restraining her. This is all done on a loose leash. If she were to pop up before you released her, it's just a little, like a tap. You're not correcting to cause pain. It's just kind of a little tap. She'll go back. She's waiting until, with your right hand, you pat her chest and say, "Go say hi." She goes over, gets a treat, gets petted. "Come." You call back. Good. We've done this with her with a lot of different people. See how I'm stepping into her as well? Sit. It's a very dominant move where the dog gets out of your way, or you're literally hurting her in this case, and she's resetting. You reset her when you go left like that. You see, it's really easy for me to say sit, and she sits right down at the end of that circle. Also, it makes the dog feel like, or gives them the impression of you that you're in charge. It's a very dominant move to do. Keeps the leash loose because you're stepping into her, so you want to always do that whenever possible. And the leash is always loose. Go. Come. This is a great exercise to practice. Good. Your come command, of course, away from a person that sit. Maybe she's excited about somebody that she knows really well that you don't want her to be inappropriate with, like jumping or something like that, or somebody that she's not sure of. You plug that person into this spot. She's done this so many times. It's in her mind, it's like a game. And she knows how this goes every time, and she's way more likely to be relaxed and be okay with somebody. You're going to do this outside of your house. Here we're doing it in the front yard. At your house, you have a deck. It's a great place to do it. We've already done it there a little bit already. Do it the same way there. And then when we're going to send her over one more time. But after that, go. You're going to do one more step. Come. Good. After that, you're going to have her, of course, sit, and then walk over, hand the person a big pile of these treats. They're going to go inside the house, and you're going to follow them. You never have a new person and she's going, that's okay, you keep filming me here. You never have a new person walking behind you, of course, because she doesn't know that person. So you follow that person in, and inside you do one more routine in there where she gets a big giant payoff from that person in the living room. And then I think at first you either supervise her on a leash to make sure that you don't have any of that lunging that you had, although that was just in a couple of circumstances. It doesn't seem like it's something that happened with every visitor by any means. But you want to still watch her at first for the first 5 or 10 minutes if you're going to keep her in the same room as that visitor that she doesn't know yet or that she formerly had a problem with. And be ready to, if she even looks at that person or goes towards that person, call her away from that person. Good. Do that kind of thing. Always calling her away from the person that she is not sure about. And what it would be best to do is, before that even can happen, the first, 15 or 20 times that you have somebody come over, you do the greeting routine one last time inside. She gets a big payoff from the person. She's pretty happy. You can use chicken breast, cheese, something special is great to use as well. And then from there you put her in her crate in your room, give her a favorite bone to chew on, close the door, and you end that interaction with that visitor on a super high note. You end it early while she's really doing well, before she starts to get anticipatory about that person being in her space. And then as time goes on, you just maybe let her stay a minute more every time it happens. Pretty soon she's out for 20 minutes with a new person. At some point, you can tell she's friendly, wagging her tail, she's cool, she's not staring at the person, she doesn't care. You'll know when she's more relaxed, you'll see it, and then you can kind of loosen up on the whole routine. Okay. Okay. Sit. Always walk her up to the mat. The mat's already there. You went and got her from wherever she was. This is a very exclusive spot where she's not allowed to just go hang out on it. It's not a doggy bed. It's only for this purpose alone, just for doing this exercise. She only goes on with your permission, and she only comes off with your permission. So it's already down on the floor. You go get her. She's on a leash. You bring her up to the mat. You have her sit. With your right hand, pat her chest and say, go to your mat, walk over with her and say, down. She's really big, so sometimes it takes her a little while to go down. And see how she's a little bit twisted? Can take a handful of this natural balance, which is what we're using, natural balance training roll, and just lure her like this without touching her. Lure her to go straight on the mat. See how I'm luring her? Look, this way. Look. Come here. And if the luring doesn't work well, it's never not worked, except for, of course, now we're filming. You can always do this. Okay. Release her to get up. Reset her by just doing your left circle like this, leading her onto the mat, down, and then she's going to lie down a little straighter that way. That's the way you start the exercise. Good. It's better if she's laying straight on the mat. It gives her a little extra something to stay focused on, just like being straight on the mat and waiting. No. Good. Waiting to accept the reward. That's another little thing. So you want to have this mat exercise be super laser beam specific, because there are rules of this game. She plays the game right. Good. She gets rewarded, and she loves these treats. She also loves to do this mat exercise because she's doing something with you, and you're orchestrating the whole thing. Good. You're teaching her downstay. Whatever she learns on this mat, she'll be able to do in real life after you practice for a while. So you'll be able to do a downstay without the mat, which you want to practice as well pretty soon. She's been doing this here for a month. Nope. Make sure that she always waits You place the reward on the mat and then withdraw, and she takes it off the mat. So that's what's great about this mat exercise. It's a fast track to teaching the dog a down stay, and it translates to real life very easily, because you start practicing a couple of down stays a day just in your living room, in your kitchen, in your front yard, on your front deck, wherever. And she gets pretty used to doing it without the mat, but the reason she can do it so quickly and so well is because we practiced on the mat. From day one, we did this on the mat. It's that association with this piece of fabric. So your mat's going to be sacred. It's only going to be for this one thing. You got a doggy bed for free time, sleeping and chewing her bone on the mat or whatever, on the bed, whatever you want her to do. That's a free time place. She can come and go as she pleases. This mat is only for this. You put it down, you allow her on, you take her off, you put it away. But it's this association. Good. Only one behavior's ever practiced on this mat, and that's the downstay. So she gets really good at it. You send her to the mat and she automatically clicks into this where she just doesn't move. So we're going to do some things that might be harder for her to handle. I'm going to go out this gate. If you're ever going to do something that you think might be difficult, it's okay. As you know, we don't say stay. We don't have to. It's just down. Stay. Down means to stay. She's already popping up. You say no. And she pops up. And you just gently but firmly reset her. And all I'm doing, I just stepped into her, used my body to reset her, do a little circle, placed her back on the mat where I want her to be. I just stepped on a leash like that, gently but firmly. I didn't jerk or pop or force her down. I just applied a little bit of pressure. She went back. We'll try it again. So I was saying that if you're going to do something that you think might be hard for her to do, it's okay to remind her down before you do it. And this is always hard because this is one of the yards that she runs around in. You want to show me here? And so when she's loose, we're always coming in and out of this gate, and she's always coming up to meet us. So that would be an automatic thing for her to do. And you can show her again. But she knows that she's in a down. See, she made one mistake because she lost focus because I'm talking so much. I'm usually not talking at all when I'm doing the training. Nope. Nope. Make sure she really waits. No. Good. So that's why she got unfocused, because I'm never talking this much when I train, and you're not going to be either. This is the first video I've ever made with her, so I reset her. She realized she's supposed to stay there no matter how much talking I do, and then I went in and out, and she could handle it. So you can just do a bunch of things, whatever you want to do. Big wide circles behind her. Most dogs in a downstay would always pop up when you walk behind them like this, or quickly. She just knows that she has to wait there until she's released. And we'll practice this all at your house too, of course. Good. So much of it is the delivery of the reward. Make sure it's a calm delivery. She's only going to be as calm as the person doing this exercise with her. So you're really placing it there. You withdraw, she takes it off the mat, she really waits, she doesn't touch your hand until or she never touches your hand, but she doesn't touch the reward, nope, until you withdraw. Her main issue has always been with the sit stay as well, popping up, anticipating that, oh, we're almost done, popping up out of the down or the sit. So you're going to have this happen. You just say no, stay calm, gently but firmly put her back. Step back to where you were a moment before. Step back. She does it the right way. This is the way she comes off the mat or out of any downstay. Okay, lead her off the mat. Have her sit. You might have to help her just a little bit there. And then release her. Go to be free. Pick this up because she's going to want to go hang out on it, and she's not allowed to because it'll destroy the power of the mat if she's just able to hang out on it and walk across it or whatever. So that's how you do the mat exercise. Okay. When I'm practicing the recall, the come command, I'm always doing it the same way. If you do it the same way every time, like hold the leash the same way and, just what your part, do it the same. Oh, she wants some water. We're going to let her have a little water. Hey, lady, have some water, but keep filming. Let her drink her. Go, you wanted water? Go ahead. She thought she wanted water. Anyway, if you do it the same way every time, then it's really easy to do it in a crisis situation or a real life situation, just like by muscle memory. So you always practice it the same way that you're going to do it in real life, and then it's easy to do when you really have to do it in a split second. Left hand leash. See how I have it over my wrist? That way you can use this hand as well, and you're not going to lose her. You can grab the leash, or you can call her to you, and this hand grabs the leash as well if you want to do that. So left hand leash, always have the reward in your right hand. Using this training collar that we have, and really any collar, the leash is going to be on her right side, therefore when you call her to come to you, it's going to be on your left, so that's why we always do it this way. And then you can just, when you call her to come to you, you can just step into her and walk with her or have her sit or whatever. So also, you always want to practice calling her when she's looking away from you or distracted by something. So you're always trying to practice in a way that's as close to real life as possible. So if she's going to just be staring at you lovingly because this is the way she'll be after you've been training her for a while, you've got to distract her so she can be interested in something else. If you're by yourself, this is a perfect way to do it. Just have a handful. I dropped one by mistake. Just have a handful of treats. See how I have a handful of treats, and I'm just going to toss one as a distraction over there, and then I'm going to say, come, call her away from it. I did let her get it first, but good. Before she turned back to me, I called her away. And notice how, now she's going over to look for more crumbs. Come! You see how I back away? Good. And I can grab the leash with my left hand. It's really easy. The right hand always has the reward. And you call her to a closed hand, a fist, but it's like this. It's not like this. You're calling her to this because her nose touches it, it opens, you say good, love her up at the very moment that you give her the treat. So it's simultaneous. It's come and then good, like that when she comes to you. When you don't have a reward, she's come to this already so many times since she's been here, I don't need food. Like I can always just say, come. No food. Good girl. Love her up extra. She barely misses the food. And over time, she'll come to you like that, just using that target. But you need to practice for a couple of weeks with rewards like I've been doing, and then start phasing it out. Like every third time, not have something in there. Every other time, not have a reward. And then maybe get down to once a day, you've got something, or twice a day. So you're always practicing in a way that you can phase as much of the food out as possible. If the recall come is a very important command to you, she has certain things in her life that she really goes nuts for. Maybe it's a coyote outside at your window, because I think that is one of the issues. You're going to be using a high value reward. So if food is like money for dogs, these little natural balance treats are $20 bills. Let's say a piece of chicken breast, cheese, something like that is a $100 bill. You're going to use that when you practice calling her away from the window. When you're practicing, whether there's a coyote out there or not, or somebody else out there, whatever it is, a visitor walking up to your deck to walk up the stairs, you're going to always practice with a high value reward when you're doing it there on the inside of your house, calling her away from the window, so that she associates that with the coyote out in the yard. Up to this point, she's been getting this big adrenaline rush of barking at them and going crazy. But now, because you're going to be practicing it there before a coyote shows up, and she's going to get a super high value reward every time she comes away from that window, she's probably going to be coming away from that window next time, because you gave her something she'd rather do more even that. So I think she'd rather come and get a piece of chicken breast and bark at the coyotes at the window. But we're going to practice that at your house as well. So you use a higher value reward depending on the level of intensity of her desire to bark at whatever it is. So if it's a really tough situation and she just goes crazy over something, use a higher value reward for that only, and it'll work out a lot better for you. And then the other basic rules are just always back away. Come! See, there's no food, but I'm backing away, and she'll just follow this target wherever I go. Good girl, and I love her up every time. When you back away from the dog, they're drawn to you. When you stand still, it's not half as good. When you go towards her, she might try to run away from you, and you got to grab her. So you always back away when you say come, when you're practicing with the leash. If she doesn't come to you the first time, you never repeat a command. You're always just tapping and backing away, worst case scenario. So that you do that when you practice. So when your back's to the wall, you have no leash, you have no reward, she comes to you every time. So you're always practicing in a way that it works without your leash, without your reward. Okay. Sit. Good. We never repeat a command, and that goes for the come command as well as the down command, and of course the sit command that we just did. Stay is always built into sit, as it is in down. If she pops up before you release her, she was just maybe adjusting herself, she went back on her own. But if she does, you don't repeat it, you just gently but firmly put her back. And I'm going to do enough here so that she does pop up. She'd already popped up, so you're going to say, she's after crumbs of treats on the ground. You're going to say no, and you're just going to do this little reset. She likes to swing out, so you might have to do what I've been doing, which is to just grab her, because a lot of dogs have that issue. They've, for their whole life, been sitting with their butt pointed that way. She's tired. That's what's going on. She's a big dog. Okay, she gets tired easily, but we're going to have to finish this the right way. So I would have said no, reset her again, make sure she doesn't go out like that. It's getting way easier to have her sit straight. Sometimes she does it without me even holding her back. So you just keep doing that for a while. That's what you do if she breaks out of the sit stay before you release her. If you walk around a few times or walk away and come back and she stays there, reward her like this. Back next to her, eye contact. So you're not leaning, you're not like this, you're not like that. It's just really easy. So you're standing here and your hand goes here. She looks at you. Good. She's literally looking at me in my eyes as she gets the reward. And you say good the moment you give her the treat. She gets up. Nope. We've had a long day here. She's done really well. So she's losing focus here. But every time that we practice like this, and I reset her and I make sure that she always ends on a success, she gets a little bit better. So you guys are going to be doing the same thing. Always make sure you end on a success. She got a reward. She popped up too soon. Now she's sliding on the slick concrete here. So we're going to release her. You always release her with your right hand, pat her chest and say, go. And then she's free. Okay. I said sit before I open the door. It's always harder for them to sit while you open the door, so I'm going to say sit before I open the door because I want it to be as hard as possible, therefore teaching her a higher level of focus. I'll do it again. I had her sit, open the door, I step out first just to accentuate the fact that this is my boundary. She waits till I come back next to her. I say okay, and if she tries to pull ahead of you, all you have to do is just lightly tap like that, and then we're coming out, so left turn. Whenever you turn left into her, and you're seeing these left turns throughout this video, you draw her back next to you. If there's tension on the leash, the tension disappears because you're turning into her. See how your body does all the work and there's no leash action at all except for the occasional tap? Now she came to me being quite a puller at times. But you can see we're on the street. We haven't been out on the street since yesterday. Normally, she'd be super excited. She's been working a lot in there, so mental exertion makes a dog tired. And you'll see this more and more if you do your training before the walk. And she's tired because she's been thinking. That's the way to make her tired. All the long runs and hikes are great, but it's not a substitute for training because the next day she's had a good night's sleep and she rests up and she's back to her old stuff again. So make her tired with the mental exertion. Sit, having her sit at this curb. And then you can take her for a walk, and that's great. She can get her walk and her exercise, but you want to have something to show for your exercise. And so teach her this training system, which makes her tired because she's been focusing and working with you. and then you have something to show for it. You got some great skills, great recall, great sit stay, great down stays. I have her sit and wait at every curb, and then when we're taking a walk, the street is the area that she's walking next to me and on the clock, so to speak, in work mode. Okay. She tries to pull like she used to, I just stop. You need to slow down if you want her to slow down. And I'm walking super slow, slower than I normally would, just to show you. See how it's just tapping. I'm not causing pain. I'm just doing little taps and walking really slow, much slower than I normally would. If you do this, she'll slow down. Normally, you're not going to want to walk across the street that slowly because usually it's going to be a lot busier than this street. Sit. But I just wanted to illustrate a point there. I'm having her sit. She doesn't sit right away. Just a little bit of tension. You're not jerking, popping, any of that. As soon as her butt hits the ground, you release that little bit of leg tension. And then with your right hand, pat her chest, go. And now she's free. So on the walks, sitting and waiting at curbs, doing that walk around sit stay, it's a little minute long thing where she has to focus and wait. Walk across the street without pulling, another sit, wait to be allowed to be free, and then your walk continues. So that's the way I've been doing it. If you're going to be having her sit at curbs consistently, it's way less likely that she is going to want to just race out in the street, because every time she goes up to a curb with you, and I know she's only outside on leash, of course, she has to stop and wait. As time goes on, she's way less likely to want to rush out into the street because she never does that anymore. She never pulls you across the street anymore. This is where she sits and waits, walks calmly across the street with you without pulling, and then the walk starts again over there. Free time is only on the sidewalks. And the leash handling, it's always loose. So if you're walking, remember when you back away, she's drawn to you, which she's really familiar with doing now. See if she was pulling that way? All I did was I just stopped and let her go to the end of the leash. Come. And you can also call her away from whatever. Good. She was kind of twisting around a lot, and there's something on the ground over there I don't want her to be close to. So I just called her back to me. Do your little turn and go this way. But in general, always a loose leash. You always keep it loose so you're never choking up, you're never restraining. You may be anticipating that she's going to pull you, and so you choke up, but it's actually the tight leash that causes her to go into pulling mode. So start with it loose, only tap and do it the way you've seen me doing it. Tap and turn, do your sit stays at the gate, at the doorway, all the way out to the street. So you do that sit stay at your front door as well, then the gate, and by the time you get to the edge of your driveway, do that thing at the edge of your driveway and then let her be free. She's going to be in the zone and super calm, and you're going to have this. And then you also have your come command too. If she sees something she wants to go after or she's interested in, call her back a few times and it'll completely just pretty much get rid of that desire to go over to something. You'll call her back 4, 5, 6 times, which you can do in like 30, 40 seconds. She'll stop pulling. That's why she's not pulling at all out here, and we just got out here. Okay, let's go.